your name?
Erica.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to
I'm
meet you.
Jessica Walton.
Okay.
What class were you?
2009.
2009. What class name? What was your class name?
Ogre Phi Ogre.
Okay, I'm Onyx 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, one of the first questions I have to ask is, what challenges did you face as a student, and how did you overcome them?
So, I came from predominantly public schools in New York City, and they probably did not give us all of the things that we needed our freshman year. And so, I did have professors who pointed me to the writing center. I'm not sure if that's still there.
Yeah, it is.
Right, the writing center, and who gave me those office hours, and I made sure I took full advantage of them. So folks would hear I have office hours, we have the writing center, and kind of dismiss that. I made my way there because I knew that I was going to need extra help. Yeah.
Was that really beneficial to you in like just the writing aspect, or in like all of your classes?
It was helpful in all of my classes because we had to write papers for all of my classes, and we needed to know different formats. So I needed to know MLA, APA, Turabian, right? And so I had to learn them outside of class because my instructor did not have time to go in depth with each and every one. And so the Writing Center was super helpful with that, and just having professors that were easily accessible, even outside of their office hours. They would give us their cell phone numbers, like call me anytime. It was really helpful. So that's how I overcame those challenges. Yeah.
That's good. I think that I should start taking advantage of that too. I haven't really been utilizing my professor's office hours as much, but hearing your take on it, I think I might. So, what skills did you learn here that you applied directly to your career?
I learned the power of networking. I learned the power of speaking up. Like, I'm not sure if you guys do this here still, but they used to make us, every time there was an event, you had to like say your name, your class, right? I learned the power of, taking my ideas and translating them to any platform. So whether that was a digital space, or it was in front of a podium, or it was within a PowerPoint presentation with a team or by myself, all of those things I learned here. And so I use those things every single day, right? I'm an educator. I've been teaching history and English for 12 years. Look at that, I teach English, and I had to come here and like supplement what I did not know in English, right? And now I'm opening my first middle school.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Where are you opening it?
So I'm opening in Unionville, New York. It's on Long Island. And the fellowship that I'm in, which is helping founders of color open their first schools, is actually run by a Hamptonian. And so the way that I found them was because another Hamptonian recommended me to him. So all of those things really translated to my real life. Yeah.
So the network really like works for you, even like outside of school.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Well, you just said that you're a teacher, but are there any other ways that you give back to current students at Hampton or young students in general?
Absolutely. So I'm close with professors that are still here, and they are sure to point me in the direction of freshmen, sophomores who still need assistance if they're interested in writing or teaching professionally. And so they will create a connection between us via email. And so I give back through mentorship, through Skype, in person. I'll go have coffee with them when they graduate, and sometimes even with employment opportunities if I have any available at the time.
So that's really how the networking thing works. Just working with the younger students. That's one of my favorite things about being here.
Yeah.
That there's so much connection between, like, even amongst the classes.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, would you choose Hampton again?
Yes, without a doubt. I would definitely choose Hampton again. I remember I came here for all the wrong reasons. I went to a few schools on tours with my parents. And then our tour at Hampton was led, I think I was 16 when I started here. So it was led by a really cute boy, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go to this school. And then when he took us around, I was like, oh, and there's a lot more of them. Like, this is a nice campus, and all the girls are pretty, right, for all the superficial, silly reasons. And then I got here and I was like, wow, this is bigger than me and bigger than those superficial things. And it really taught me about the nuance of who we are, that we are not a monolith, which sometimes we can be seen as. Broke apart a lot of stereotypes for me as a New Yorker who was like stuck in her little space for most of her life, coming here and like within the first week hearing different accents, different names, different heritages. It just blew my mind. So that was great.
What do you think might separate well, not separate necessarily, but differentiate Hampton from other HBCUs? Like, what do you think makes us special?
I think our diversity. I think when we hear that term, we also apply it to like monoliths, like multiple brown, black faces on a brochure for an institution that's predominantly white, right?
Yeah.
But Hampton has the true definition of that. So we are differentiated in socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, where we're from, like the islands and the tribes that we come from, in terms of sports, right? Like I have friends who went to HBCUs and they can't tell me that they had a rowing team. They can't tell me that, they met.
A rowing team?
Oh, we did when I was here. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys still do. They couldn't tell me they had equestrian, right? Like I think that the things that they have for us here are very different from a lot of schools. I don't know if that's because of the location, but because I don't know if they could put a stable in the middle of DC for Howard.
That makes sense.
But also just the people that you meet here. I have friends that are from Kenya, and I have friends that are from Kingston, Jamaica, and I have friends that are from Brooklyn, and I have friends from Chicago, right? So just that the nuances I think I see them here and there at other HBCUs, but at Hampton I see them every step of the way. Yeah.
I agree. I've definitely noticed that. Okay. My last question is, when did you find yourself really adapting to the campus, like in the social aspect, the educational aspect, and like internally as well?
When I found a cohort that I really clicked with. So there was a cohort here at the time called Spark One, and they did poetry, spoken word. And back when I was a teenager, back at home, that's what I did. I went to open mics and poetry slams. And so I remember coming here and I couldn't find my tribe for a while. I was like hanging out with this group and that group, and they weren't really. It was like, oh, we're all hanging out because we're New Yorkers, or we're all hanging out because we're English majors, but not necessarily. And that's actually a plus too. Like you have different tribes here, right? But when I really found the tribe that I clicked with, it was that group, and then I realized that all of those general cohorts that you're kind of lumped into at the beginning of freshman year, they all started to find their tribes too, right? So the musicians were finding each other, then you had like the artists were finding each other, the writers were finding. It was like, oh, okay. So that's when I adapted. Like my schedule was completely different. I used to like go to class, get my lunch, go back to class, get my dinner, go back to my room, study, and like block out the world. But then my day became come to 12 to 2. We would be upstairs in like a cluster sharing poetry, talking about events that were coming up in other cities nearby. And then after lunch, I would meet them like down here in the theater. We'd have like practice for some show we're gonna do. And I felt Hampton becoming home at that point. Yeah.
It's good. I'm still looking for that.
Okay, you can find it.
Yeah,
It's
hope
early.
so.
It's early.
Yeah, it is. It's only my first year, so I'm trying to, stay hopeful about it. But thank you so much
No
for
problem.
everything that you said. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, it was good meeting you, Jessica.
Good meeting you too.